My guest today is Mr. Adeoye, who is the national convener for Nigerian Wailers. Welcome to SaharaTV, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, so for the past few weeks now, we've had, a large public outcry about the hashtag EndSARS, which is a hashtag that Nigerians are used to voice their displeasure with the brutality that's coming from the SARS units of the police. My question now is, why is it that this is coming now, especially as we've had, reports of SARS brutality way back, even 2012, thereabouts?
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, this is not the first time we are talking about the public, so to speak. He's talking about issue of brutality by the police in general. SARS is a subunit of the Nigerian police force. Hope you are aware. Some months back, the Nigerian Wailers, we actually, because of the report we're getting from the public, we actually, did a social media campaign called Say No to Police Brutality. Of course, if you're on social media, you see the trend at that time. You see, this thing is like a build-up to what started long ago. Of course, there are a lot of testimonies from people, and at that time, the rate of brutality at that time and now might not actually be the same. It's possible that now the thing is getting more, so that's why you see more people are now coming out to come and hear their displeasure and also say their encounter with the officers of the SARS.
Have you personally had any nasty experience with SARS members, officials?
Not really.
Oh, okay. So you just hear reports and then you when exactly you did the Say No to Police Brutality? It was just reports that were coming from...
The report we're getting from people, and also the report we're getting from our members who were giving first-hand information. For instance, there was a time one of our members in Akure reported to us that he was trying to go to the bank to take some money from his ATM, but because he's a young guy, probably he's a university student, the way he dressed up, so they have this habit of always accosting young people, maybe that properly dressed up, as young person. So they felt maybe he's a Yahoo boy or something. In their own nasty imagination, they accosted him and they started embarrassing him, harassing him.
Why do we find that SARS has an issue specifically with how young people dress?
Well, you see, it depends on the orientation of the SARS people. Of course, you see me dress this way, I can decide to dress like a university graduate, so a student. So it depends on how you feel, how comfortable you are, the kind of dress you are comfortable in. SARS cannot dictate to the young people the way they should dress. You understand what I'm saying? They should not dictate to the people, and people should be able to express themselves through their dress anyhow they wish to. So that is not a yardstick to say whether you are a criminal, whether you are a Yahoo boy or whatsoever. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I feel it is an orientation challenge for the SARS people.
You did mention that, yes, months back you started to say no to police brutality.
Police brutality.
But now today we're talking about EndSARS. Are you surprised at the way EndSARS campaign has received this much publicity and the quick response by the police leadership?
Yeah, of course. I'm not in any way surprised at the response from the police, because when we did say no to police brutality, of course, Yomi Shogunle, who is their public whatever, came on Twitter and started threatening. Of course, is their way, because they don't want people to speak against their own ill of the Nigerian police. Of course, as an image maker of the Nigerian police, he will always come out to defend the Nigerian police as against what people are saying. So that is an expectation. You understand? So nobody is surprised that the police are coming out to even say the movement is being sponsored by the politician. They are saying all sorts of things. Of course, they have people who among Nigerian people that they are working with as per influencers. We saw different comments when the movement started. Some people came out and started trying to, talk it down, in their own way. Do you understand? But of course, the Nigerian people are not lying. Everybody's on the internet. We are seeing the videos. We are seeing the pictures. We are seeing testimonies. There was something we tweeted, officially on our official Twitter handle, the Nigerian Wailers. A doctor in Abuja gave a testimony how the police people, the SARS people come to their hospital to come and collect death certificate of the people they have killed. You understand? And they cannot explain to the medical people the reason why these people were killed. So these are the problems we are facing in the country. Young people are being wasted. People that they have capacity and they have potential to contribute immensely to the development of Nigeria are being killed anyhow. Innocent people are being harassed. And to shock you, these people cannot exist without the Nigerian people. Because a lot of people are working, paying their tax. This tax is what they are using to pay their salaries. This tax is what they are using to pay their upkeep. So why are you now turning against the people that are making your life sustainable? So these are the issues we need to talk about. For people to come out to vent their anger that they don't longer want SARS, you should know it has gotten to the peak. It has gotten to an extent where they cannot longer, take it.
There have been reports on Twitter. Some people tweet that since the commencement of this EndSARS thing, in some parts of Ikorodu and Oshobo in particular, SARS members go about checking people's phones, checking their social media, checking Twitter in particular to see if they have tweeted about the EndSARS campaign. Have you heard any reports about this? And if this is actually true, do you think that there's a headway out of this whole thing?
Yeah, I actually saw some of the tweets, saying that SARS are stopping people checking their phones and rest like that. Of course, I have my reservation about that because we are in Nigeria. We know the way propaganda works. You understand? It might be true, it might be false. It might be a way to incite, to instill fear into the people, to stop them from trending the hashtag or joining the movement. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking because I have not officially gotten confirmation that police or SARS are checking people's, social media to check if they are participating in the EndSARS protest. Of course, it's a movement that whether they are using propaganda or whatsoever, nobody can stop it. It cannot stop because it has started. If this thing is not a genuine or generic, that is when you can say, oh, after some time it will fizzle out. This is what affects not just human, it affects their existence. People are being killed. We are seeing videos. We are seeing how SARS are molesting people. I'm sure you must have seen one or two videos. So videos don't lie. If you say picture is static and maybe somebody Photoshop something, is video also going to lie? Video is not going to lie.
Following the outcry by Nigerians, the Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris has come out to say that there will be reorganization of the police and reforms going on personnel conduct and in general in the SARS units of the police. Do you think that SARS is redeemable? Do you think that the current leadership of the police can reform SARS?
Let me chip in here. You cannot sometimes, the head that creates a problem sometimes might not have capacity to solve it. Okay? Now, let me take you back. There was a time in Nigeria when the same Inspector General of Police issued a directive that all roadblocks in Nigeria should be removed. I traveled with my car from Lagos to Ijebu-Ode, I think some few weeks after the directive was issued by the IG. I saw nothing less than 5 checkpoints between Lagos and Ijebu. Meaning that these guys, they don't listen to the IG. You understand what I'm saying? So if they don't listen to the IG, how is the reform going to take place? The number one person is telling you, oh, we are going to reorganize, we are going to reform, we are going to restructure the SARS, and they don't comply to his directives. So how is it going to be implementable? So these are questions you should ask yourself. So I don't think this reform or reorganization I don't think is possible to some large extent, except we have what we call institutional reform. Reform is total overhaul of the system. It has to go down to how these people are taken care of. Of course, we cannot shy away from the fact that these SARS people, the police people, they also have one or two challenges they are facing personally, because these people are not properly being, taken care of. I have not made confirmation that police, they buy their boots, they buy their uniform, they buy sometimes they even rent their gun, they do this, and allocations are being given to the Nigerian Police Service Commission every year. So what are they doing with this money? So that's why I told you that reform, if you don't reform the up, you cannot reform the down. You are just wasting your time. It will just amount to blowing grammar in the media, deceiving the Nigerian people, and whereas this thing will continue unchecked. When I am a junior police officer, I am aware that money is being given to Oga at the top, and at the end of the day, the money does not get to me. How do you expect me not to misbehave as a policeman? But when I see a police boss that is disciplined, that no corruption allegation against him, he gives instruction, he makes sure that the instruction is followed to the letter. Of course, everybody will sit up. But what do we have today? It is just issued directive and no follow-up. No institutional reform, no reform anywhere. Nobody is listening to anybody. Everybody is just doing what they like.
We all come from different backgrounds. That's what unites us. We all know life is about freedom of choice, and money transfer should be the same way. Introducing MoneyGram My Way. Send and receive money just about anywhere, using whatever method that works best for you.
In 2015, we witnessed the passage of the Anti-Torture bill by the National Assembly. But 2 years after, we're in 2017, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, is yet to sign that bill. Is the presidency aiding the menace by SARS by not signing the Anti-Torture bill?
Well, if you look at Nigeria of today, everybody knows what's happening, including you. A president that came into the country pleaded that to vote for me after maybe several trials, like 3 or 4, and eventually became a president. And we are now seeing about human life. We also saw how hip-hop guys in the southeast Nigeria during the Biafra agitation, the way they were killed, we saw the videos, we saw everything. So is that the kind of president you feel you will have empathy to say, okay, Nigerian people, okay, I'm not supporting a torture bill? Another question you need to ask yourself is the compliance to some of these bills and implementation of some of these bills. For instance, let me take you back to Lagos State government. In that same 2015, former President Goodluck Jonathan signed Freedom of Information, a bill that, okay, the citizen can walk into any office or parastatal to ask questions, to demand, because they are serving us. Today, Lagos State is trying to take, the citizen to court that they don't want to participate in the Freedom of Information bill. So these are questions you need to ask yourself. When you elect leaders, they turn around to face you and to start working against you. So these are the challenges we Nigerian people are facing. So you see, you are talking about anti-torture bill. Anti-torture bill does not mean anything to them because it does not affect them. So if it is something that affects them, I'm sure it won't take them 24 hours before they get it to they are sent to it. So these are the questions, these are the problems we are facing as Nigerian people.
Police authorities have pushed back against campaigners, including putting some of the leaders under investigation over their political connections. Is there a political undertone to the EndSARS campaign?
Like I told you from the beginning, I said this movement or this agitation, it does not start today. It started long ago. Of course, maybe there is more organization now, more people are involved, more people are now coming out to voice out their... So, for me, there's nothing called political undertone. Of course, when somebody actually started this agitation about SARS some times ago, and before you know it, somebody, when testimony started coming in here and there, people felt, okay, we want you people to face criminal and help us pursue all the armed robbers into their non-existence. And now, instead of you to do that, you are now facing us, and the gain of having you outweigh your, the benefits. So that's why Nigerian people are saying they don't want any longer. There's nothing called political undertone to it. It is just the feeling of the Nigerian people. Nigerian people are tired. They cannot continue to watch themselves be killed by the people that are supposed to be protecting them. So why should you continue to, have SARS in existence when they clearly derail from their duty and they are now facing the Nigerian people?
Okay, so the police authorities dredged out photos of one of the leaders taking pictures with politicians, and even suggested that the attack on SARS was being sponsored by a senator who had a beef with the IG of the police force, and a state governor, that's the Rivers State governor to be specific, that had fallouts with SARS, in the past month. Is there a relationship with these elements?
Like I told you, everything is still propaganda. Police is trying to play a propaganda on the Nigerian people to suppress people from participating in the EndSARS. Of course, they have tried to use fear, you understand, to threat, that, they are being, the convener or the person that championed it is under investigation. The picture you are talking about in particular, I understand, it was when a proposal was sent to the National Assembly concerning how police can be reformed and stating the activities of the SARS. That was when, the picture took place. So it's not as maybe, of course, if I come to you now and you are my leader, or you are a leader in the country, so to speak, and you are also making impact in the country, it cuts the demand that, okay, maybe because I have not had any contact with you or whatsoever, I can decide and say, okay, sir, can I take a post with you? We see this thing everywhere. Even celebrity, you will see maybe Davido or Wizkid or Olamide now, maybe for the first time, you have opportunity to have one-on-one interaction with them. Of course, you post for picture. So this thing happen anywhere and everywhere in the world. Imagine, Chinwe, you are meeting with, President Donald Trump now. You have a counter with him one-on-one. You want to take maybe 1 or 2 photos and you go on your Instagram and display it. So it's not out of place for anybody to snap picture with any politician.
Away from the EndSARS matter, you are the organizer of Nigerian Wailers on Twitter. How did Nigerian Wailers come to be? Okay,
we started Nigerian Wailers in 2015, in October to be precise. Of course, why we started Nigerian Wailers was because we don't want to have a situation where we are going to have a party state. PDP was a very useless party that they were not doing opposition. They were not getting themselves. They were not holding the government account. We saw what happened pre-2015 where APC was doing serious opposition. A serious opposition at that time, you understand, citizens were getting to know what is happening in government. When the government of the day at that time mess up, they come to media and they shout, and everybody knows what was happening. But what we have now, we don't have any opposition. So that's why we came together. We use social media to, galvanize young people across the country. In fact, we have structure in every state, in all the 36 states in Nigeria. You understand that right now, the Enugu chapter, they are trying to pick their government up. You understand, on some of the things they feel is not right about their government. So it's happening everywhere in all the states. So we are a group of concerned Nigeria that we are in our own way. We are holding government to account, and we don't want things. We actually want a Nigeria of our dream in our time.
There are allegations that social media influencers such as yourself and a couple of others get paid to trend stories, get paid to start campaigns such as the EndSARS, for instance. How do you react to this kind of allegation?
Of course, it's false. It's false. How you are, for you to start a movement, you have to check yourself. What is your character? What is your capacity? Do you have integrity? So these are things you should ask yourself. If you have these qualities, of course, there are so many ways people will try to attack you.
There are allegations that your team and yourself are rub hands with the Senate president, and that's the reason why you never actually condemn him in public.
It is false. If you go back to our Twitter handle, you can investigate our Twitter handle. I think some days ago, we actually put up some tweets, you understand, against the Senate president. You saw
what did that tweet say?
I cannot actually remember because, of course, you do a lot of tweets every day. So, but that's why I say you, as a reporter, you go back there and investigate our Twitter handle. So there's no way we are being paid or being influenced by anybody, because for you as an activist, you must have what you do for a living. You understand what I'm saying? So that you don't get corrupted by the politician.
Minister for Transportation Rotimi Amechi came out yesterday and blasted this regime by saying that it has to stop blaming former President Goodluck Jonathan for its failures. Is that a sign that the regime is falling apart or facing reality? Well,
what is happening now is the two things you have said. The regime is falling apart and people are facing reality. You understand? There is limit to deceit, there is limit to propaganda, there is limit to the nonsense you can do because you are in government. You understand what I'm saying? If you join a movement or a party or a government and that government is not working, of course, when you start, you try to watch the direction at which the government is going, you watch the direction at which what's happening in the country, and you give yourself a timeline. May say 2 years or 3 years down the line, in 4 years regime, and you see that the country is not moving forward, and instead the country is moving backward. So if you have the love of the country at heart, you will voice out, no matter who you are. Of course, we saw what happened when a minister in Buhari's cabinet came out and got angry, and she was raging. So there are people. For the fact that I'm part of your government, there are people that they are not afraid of anybody. They are not afraid to speak. So, for him to come out to say, don't blame the past government, of course, everything is falling apart.
We know the election seasons are here again, and Twitter is buzzing about Atiku and Buhari. How much of significance do you think social media would play in the 2019 elections?
Of course, social media is a very great tool to disseminate information and also to campaign, so to speak. But like I have been saying, because to some extent, I can confirm to you that I'm a politician as well. I have been telling young people, I said, for us to have the Nigeria of our dream, at one way or the other, at one level or the other, we must get involved in politics. It might not be directly, but on a grassroots level, there are so many people who are better off the current leaders that are parading themselves, whether in government and those who are trying to, take, the government. There are so many young people who are vibrant, who have character, who have capacity to lead this country. Okay? But what do we have? They spend entirely all the time on social media to do politics. Of course, politics is way beyond social media. Politics is local and grassroots. Okay, someone like me, I do grassroots politics. I go around Lagos State to form structures and the rest like that in a party I'm supporting. Okay, but young people, they are excited when they are on social media because it's simple. You can do it from anywhere, even from your bathroom, from your toilet, from your office, from anywhere you are. You can do social media. You understand? But that is not it all. How many people asking questions about Atiku? It is just media vency. Oh, Atiku this, you can defeat Buhari, you can do this thing. I told them, don't let us travel through the same routes we traveled in 2015. It is time for us to use that social media to ask relevant questions so that we will not find ourselves in the same situation we are finding ourselves now. Young people should not be carried away with social media. Social media is going to be impactful in 2019 election, but we must take the right steps and we must make the right decisions. You understand? We must ask relevant questions.
If you could bring yourself to advise President Muhammadu Buhari on how to, move Nigeria forward, what would you advise him?
Well, President Muhammadu Buhari, I believe the country, he can still try his best. But the best advice to give to the president, based on his antecedent, is for him not to run for second term and allow a younger person, someone with a capacity and character that can use innovation to bring about change in this country. So you don't think he deserves second term? I don't think he deserves second terms, because we have seen, just like the adage in Yoruba, that Saturday to Bamada, Friday Lamatimo, meaning that a Saturday that will be so beautiful, you will start seeing the sign from Thursday or Friday. So he has done in 1984, we saw what happened. He has done in 2015 to 2017, we have seen what happened. So why are we going to deceive ourselves as if we don't know what we are doing? So the best thing is for President Buhari to give way to someone who has the energy. You understand? I'm not saying he does not have the capacity, but he said it by himself that age will limit his performance when he came on board in 2015. So someone that's confessed that age will limit his capacity or deliverable to the Nigerian people. You are saying the person should come back again in 2019. Are we serious as a people?
Do you think we would see massive rallies across the country that would show the success of EndSARS on social media?
Well, I believe we are all still doing the campaign on social media, and we are trying to see how we can, mobilize more people across states to come out for the SARS. Of course, my very good friend and brother, the Jade, he went to the force headquarters yesterday to submit the letter, at least just to show to the people that they can come out freely and they can protest, because the police has assured that they are going to monitor and guide the protest. So fear is allayed now. You understand? So I believe that when we do more campaign, more people will come out.
What is next for Nigerian Wailers?
The next for Nigerian Wailers is for us to be a proper structure, a proper movement as far as Nigeria is concerned. Like me, my belief has always been an offline movement where people can physically meet and discuss way forward for the country and also contribute and make impact. It is not just, everything is not just social media. Of course, we started off on social media. Like I confirm to you, we have structure in all the 36 states in Nigeria. Of course, we are crowdfunding. We are not being sponsored by anybody. We are all of us, we are trying our best from little resources we are making personally to run this organization. So that's how it goes in all the states. If you have been following us, you see that we have started having physical meetings. If you go through our Twitter handles, you see meetings. We met in Lagos, we met in Kaduna, we met in Enugu, we met in Ondo, we met in so many states across the country. Physical meeting for people to discuss, and we have leadership in all the states in the country. Why we are doing this thing is to encourage young people to start having conversation offline, not just online, to have people contribute in the development of the country, and also to see, because if you don't meet people, if you don't engage them physically, you will not be able to know their capacity. Because of course anybody can come to Twitter and form form champion and form intelligence and form a superstar, but when you engage some people might not even have the boldness to talk. You understand? Some people might not have that. So bringing people offline to talk to them, to engage them, will also develop their capacity. You understand? You'll be able to say, oh, you are a leader. Oh, you can do this. Oh, you can do that. There will also be trainings, you understand, as we go, where we meet people, we train people on leadership, on so many other things, so that people from Nigerian Wailers can now begin to show interest in politics.
We all come from different backgrounds. That's what unites us. We all know life is about freedom of choice, and money transfer should be the same way. Introducing MoneyGram My Way. Send and receive money just about anywhere, using whatever method that works best for you.